are you, Patrick?
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
I appreciate that.
What's up, man? Good to see you, man. Yeah, it has been a long
Good to see
time.
you, brother.
Yeah, good to see you.
man.
Yeah, it's like you were at the
No, don't tell.
You were at the Berto Center now.
I'm 34 years old.
But no, I mean, it's like seriously, you practiced at the Berto Center for the summer league team, and now it's finally happening. What was like the first practice at Advocate Center as a member of the Chicago Bulls?
Excited, no? I mean, the weather kind of made it. Okay, I'm home now. You know, when I got off the plane, but I miss a vibe here. Billy, energetic coach. I didn't know he got a lot of shit. When it comes to X's and O's, he's very detailed. He got a lot of shit. The morale of the team, everyone's excited, ready to hoop again and try to make a playoff push.
Obviously, you've already kind of gotten into this on your podcast, but what of the situation appealed to you?
Obviously, the Bulls. Obviously, I get a chance to come home and kind of represent the city in a fashion that later on in my career I can do. The players, I mean, me and Debo, me and Zach, we really good friends. Contract years, I've been trying to get here for the longest. I'm fortunate it worked out this way.
How quickly can you transition to what this team is doing?
I'm a basketball player, so I've been playing basketball my whole life. It's real simple. You put the ball in the hole and you stop the other team from putting the ball in the hole.
This team sometimes lacks energy. Have you seen that?
No, first practice. It's the first practice,
But I mean, maybe from a distance. Have you?
No, it's tough because I'm in the West. I've been in the West my whole career, so you look at some games, but you turn it off third quarter, stuff like that. But that's the past. I'm just fortunate to be here and got a breath of fresh air, and I'm excited for a new start.
What's it going to be like playing for this franchise now, growing up in this city?
Oh, I mean, obviously honor. Obviously, the way I play, I run through a wall for any team I play. Now it's even more. It's the city where I'm from, so I don't know what might happen. I might pull some shit out I ain't never did before. So I'm super excited. I'm super stoked. I can't wait to get started. Like I said, it's just good energy, fresh energy.
What's the reaction been like from your friends, family members?
A lot of text messages, a lot of calls. But me, I'm a pro, so everyone understands this is if this comes first. Obviously my family is big in Chicago, but they put me in a position where I'm able to play basketball and make that my priority, and unfortunately make my family my second priority, and they're okay with it. So basketball's always been number one.
Patrick, how you been the last 3 months? Shooting has been up, but sort of how do you feel like you've been playing? Do you feel like you're kind of finding something around in the form these last couple of months? Like how would you kind of describe your season to this point?
My numbers are better than I was last year, so I guess I'm getting better.
What's it going to be like when you put that jersey on?
I don't know yet.
United Center.
I don't know yet.
Have you ever had dreams about that?
Dreams, obviously, you hear your name called in the Chicago Stadium, obviously, but you got to ask me after Friday. Yeah, ask me after the game.
Patrick, obviously the Lakers hadn't played the Bulls yet, but you've been watching probably them from afar. What's been kind of your assessment of what's gone on at this point, and what can you bring to this team to maybe try to get them in the playoffs?
Just energy and effort. Everything else is between the lines. Like I said, the game is about putting the ball in the hole and stopping the other team from putting the ball in the hole. And when it comes to shooting and when it comes to stopping people, I'm pretty good at that. So just want to keep that going, and whatever my persona is, and whatever my attitude is, to kind of bring some of that on the team.
What's kind of been your read from afar of what's been going on with this team? I mean, obviously they're out of the play-in picture right now. What's been kind of your read from afar?
In every game, just got to learn how to finish it. And you have problems like that; those are good problems. You can adjust those, and it doesn't take a lot of cooks in the kitchen to kind of fix those type of problems. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Like I said before, I'm, Billy D, man. That's my guy, man. It was crazy. I was a freshman in college, and he was at Florida, and I was playing against him. So I'm very fortunate to be able to play up under him this year. I'm very fortunate.
What has that relationship with Billy been like?
Exciting. But this is a relationship. I see Billy in the summer. We know some of the same people, same friends. Coach Pelfrey, one of my old coaches, a guy that was on his coaching staff. So I see Billy D. As always, I love what you're doing with the city, Billy. And I'm just fortunate to kind of, get a chance to play up under him. I'm excited.
From early conversations with him, what's your expectation in terms of starting, coming off the bench, what your role looks like?
I don't know. Things always seem to work out the way they work out, for me. So, we'll see.
How do you think you can help Zach? You kind of mentioned him on the podcast, getting his ass
Yeah, I just, you know, I seen today, you know, a lot of shots you got to kind of hesitate. You know, I told him your job here is not to pass at all. We don't need you to pass. We need you to put the ball in the hole at elite level, and that's my job to keep preaching on that, to keep harping on that. And the ones who want to be great, they respond well to it. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards. I play with James Harden, Kawhi Leonard. You know, I can get in their face and tell them, hey man, put the ball in the basket. They respond well. And the guys who don't, you know, aren't the greats. You know, so I'm excited for that challenge. And I know he is also.
Excuse me, you've been a vocal leader throughout your career. Where'd you get that from?
No, just born leader. You know, my grandma, she had city of Chicago. She adopted 11 kids. I'm the youngest out of most of them, and you know, just born leader.
I mean, Derek used to talk about Chicago and how playing high school ball in the city
Yeah.
prepares you for the NBA. Did you feel like that when you're good in the city, you have a target after that?
I played overseas too. That's, you know, unfortunately Derek didn't get a chance to play in Europe. But yeah, I played in Greece, I played in Russia, I played in Ukraine. So if high school didn't do it, definitely my career in Europe did.
You know, something that stood out last year when you came here with Minnesota, you and Lamar were going at it for a while. And usually we're used to seeing you annoy people, piss people off, and Lamar was just laughing.
Yeah.
Like he was having fun.
Yeah.
What does that indicate about the kind of relationship you have?
Man, you know, and a lot of people wouldn't know this, but you know, me and DeMar, we've been knowing each other since my freshman year in college. I was thinking about coming out. I worked out in LA. He was working out. I think he was in high school then. We was working out in Santa Monica, and we kind of like just vibed since then. Kept track of each other. Went to some of the similar basketball camps in college, and you know, I'm 34 years old. I don't know. 13 years later, you get a chance to play with him. Excited.
Because you have such a strong personality, because you already have relationships with these guys, what's your assimilation process as a leader? Do you just come right in, being who you are?
Yeah, I don't think that changes. You know, my voice is always the same. I echo the same thing. That's all about winning. You know, I don't echo give me the ball. I don't echo I want to do it my way. My echo has always been winning and impact winning at any level. So.
Does this situation remind you of any other ones you've been in?
Minnesota. Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, you could tell by the energy I have, the smile on my face, the joy of. I'm a guy who likes detail, and Billy D is a detail man. So it's a breath of fresh air.
You've been with like 6 or 7 teams this past like 2 seasons. What has that meant to you?
4.
Well, you Memphis.
I
You
didn't
didn't play with all of them.
Okay, so you got to phrase the question the right way then.
So,
Okay.
well,
Teams I played for.
right.
Okay.
Well, you said you played. I was just saying, you know, you've been through all these things. What does that mean to you? You know, just having like that journey, being a journey.
I've been a journeyman since I came into the league. You know. I started in Europe. I left college, to go to Europe. So I wouldn't expect it to be different. I love the journey. I love change. I love something new, and I'm excited. So nothing new.
I mean, is that encouraging you that someone wants you each time, or discouraging that you got to keep finding another place?
Nothing is ever discouraging. I get a chance to do something I love to do all the time. Nothing about that is discouraging.
Awesome. Thanks. You. Appreciate it, Patrick. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, love that. Love that. Nice to see you guys.
Nice. Yep. He's excited. Here comes Zach.
What up?
So you said you're going to get someplace warm. Did you succeed in that? You don't have to tell us where you went. But you,
I went back home to California.
All right.
Me, my mom, my sister, I took them to Disneyland. And then my wife came out and we spent a couple of days just at the house. So it was good. It went by really fast. It was only like 3 days. I came back here early, so I've been here for a couple of days.
And you seem pretty fired up about the addition. What are your thoughts on Patrick Beverley coming in?
I mean, maybe a lot of you guys don't know. I was trying to get Pat here at least a year or 2 ago. I've been texting him. We used to be in the same agency, so he's somebody you hate to play against but love as a teammate. You know what he brings, the type of mentality he brings. So, and we've been missing that. I think we've been missing that since Thad was here. A vocal leader or somebody that is very out and open with how he thinks about things and how he approaches the game. So it's it's great to have a guy like that on the team.
How much do you need a point? Did you guys want to get better?
I mean, at this point in the season, where we're trying to get back to what we just need a spark. I think we need anything we could, and Pat is somebody that can fill a lot of different roles. So we're just thankful to have him.
Do you think it's going to be a quick transition for him?
We'll see. I mean, coming to a new team in the middle of the season is never easy. I don't care how veteran you are, but Pat's such a high IQ player, and he goes out there and just plays hard, so he's gonna make an impact regardless. So he'll get up to speed. He's asking a lot of questions. He was very in tune with practice, so he'll be fine.
Zach, Patrick was telling us that he's already encouraging you to shoot the ball. He was saying that he doesn't.
Pat don't want me to pass the ball, so obviously, I'm gonna play my game either way. But Pat, he's gonna be great for all of us. He holds people accountable. From the best player team to the coaching staff to itself, all the way down to guys there on two-way contracts, and that's what you want. And I think that's what we needed.
What was going to be reminded? We knew this was probably going to happen, but Lonzo Ball is not playing at all this season.
Yeah.
What can you remind me of that?
I feel bad for him. Nobody's taking it more hard than him. This is his career. This is him that's having to deal with this injury, and have people put out reports and talk about him when he really hasn't said a lot. So that's hard to deal with. So I always think about the person first more than that. And he's such a hard worker. I talk to him all the time. He'll be back. It's unfortunate he had to go through this, and injuries obviously are part of basketball, but it just sucks because that's my guy. There we go.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Short and sweet. Thank you. Appreciate it, Zach. Okay. Nice job. 3 minutes. Professional. Just get what you need.
Ladies and gentlemen, Billy's coming. I'm going to pay the man the respect before I disrespect him.
Hey, what's up,
Okay.
Billy? Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to see everybody. Doing okay? Hello, how's everybody?
It seems like Patrick Beverley is your biggest advocate. How far back do you guys go? Did you recruit him?
No, I did not.
You didn't miss out on that one?
No, actually, one of my former assistants who worked with me for a long time at Florida became the head coach at Arkansas and recruited Pat. So we had kind of a connection. I coached against him when he was at Arkansas for the year. And then, playoffs against Houston, our paths crossed. I always had a lot of respect and admiration for the way he played the game and the way he competed. So it was just kind of like some mutual connections we've had, over the years. And then obviously, coaching against him when he was at Arkansas for the year. So I followed his career pretty closely, just going overseas for several years and then being able to come back and have the kind of career he's had in the NBA. So that's where some of the connections come, but I did not recruit him.
What do you envision his role being?
I didn't lose him. So a lot of times
that's what I always ask
yes,
about.
Yes.
What do you envision his role being?
Well, the one thing that was great in talking to him is I think he is a winning guy. He wants to win. That's important to him. He's highly competitive. I think that right now we just got to see, what kind of role we can put him in to impact our team. There's no question there's a role there. Right now, whether it's starting, coming off the bench, how all that plays, I don't know right now. I think getting him up to speed and getting him acclimated to what we're doing was important. He's been around. It's not like there's anything he's not going to be able to pick up, but you want to help him with terminology, play calls on offense and things like that. He's very bright and very smart. But I don't think there's any question that he's going to have a role in our team. He's going to be able to I think, impact our group and help our group. And, he's a vocal guy and a vocal leader and a guy that's, been on teams that have made deep runs. He, I think, understands what winning basketball looks like and is supposed to be. So, from that perspective, we'll just try to utilize and maximize the things that he does really well.
How important was it, though, at this time, with where your team is at in the standings, you need somebody like him?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you can get a player, of his competitiveness and the attitude to do whatever he can do to impact the team and impact winning, I think is great. You hope that a guy like him coming in gives a boost to our team. I think it'd be unfair to him, and he probably, wouldn't mind the responsibility because that's the kind of guy he is. He wants to make an impact. He wants to help. But I do think, he can add some energy to our group. I mean, that's what he's always been. That's who he's always been. And it's not like we want him to come in here and be somebody different. We want him to be who he's been. You know, he's been an elite defender, an elite competitor. I think if you look at his career, he's continued to improve his shooting. You know, he's shot the ball better and better throughout the course of his career. He's taken on all sorts of, you know, very, very difficult defensive assignments. I think he understands and knows the personnel in this league very, very well. I think for some of our young guys, even on the perimeter, you know, guys like, you know, Io and even Patrick or Kobe that are earlier in their careers, I think he could give them a lot of good tips and clues in terms of guarding different people. You know, Io being in his second year, I think he could be a great resource for him defensively. So I think there's a lot of things that he can bring to the table besides what he does in between the lines. I think he can also, you know, be a good vocal voice, you know, in the locker room and for our group.
23 games left. Do you wish you could have gotten him or someone else earlier to do this kind of what you want out of him?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say that because he hasn't played a game yet, you know, so you don't know how any of this stuff looks. And I think maybe Sam asked me last week, you know, how hard is it, you know, acclimating somebody, you know, where you don't have a lot of a ramp-up time. You know, you have today where today wasn't really a contact day. It was a lot of scripting and a lot of, you know, going, reviewing defense, reviewing offense, trying to tweak, add, those kind of things. Certainly getting him, you know, and Terry up to speed. But you don't know how all this stuff looks until we start playing games, you know, and listen, there's going to be, you know, the thing with him is I think Pat has always prided himself, you know, on being a guy that impacts the group. So I know in his mind he'll be figuring out, you know, how do I help Zach? How do I help DeMar? How do I help Vooch? How do I help Patrick? How do I help Io, Kobe? He's that kind of guy where he's figuring out how he can impact, you know, but I think he also has to get to know those guys too. You know, this is the first time he's been a teammate with those guys. He's never played with any of them, and he's got to get to know them as people. So there's going to be a time period there, you know, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm very, very optimistic, you know, about, you know, the impact and the role he can play.
Right, but what I was saying is you don't have a lot of time because there's
No,
only 3 left.
no, you don't. Yeah, I mean, you know, and again, you know, with this came about as soon as you could possibly do it, right? It wasn't like he had been sitting, you know, at home for 2 months. You know, there's a lot of this trade deadline stuff and the buyout market and that stuff just happened relatively soon. So it's hard to sit there and say, do you wish this happened, you know, several weeks ago or months ago.
Billy, did you think Russell was coming?
I didn't know. I really did not know. You know, I've got a lot of respect and affection for Russell just with my time with him, and I think I've been pretty clear on, you know, the things that I felt like he did at a really, really elite level. The way he competed, the way he came ready to play, the way he gave you everything he had, and you know, I said it was always a great privilege. I never took it for granted that, you know, as a coach, when you walk in the locker room and you look over at him in his locker, you never worried about whether that guy's coming to play or not. You know, it's every night, and he takes, you know, he takes great pride in that. But I also know the mental toll that takes every night to get yourself that ramped up to play. So I don't know all of his options, you know, in terms of what he was looking at. Certainly, he felt like he made the best decision for himself. He had a chance probably to evaluate the landscape and look at every situation. And again, you know, I just want what's best for him because I have a lot of respect for the time that we shared together.
Billy, not counting Javante and Lonzo, who are obviously
Yes.
out. You had 4 guys miss that last game for
Yes.
the Bucks. We saw DeMar play in the All-Star game.
Yes.
What were their status of Derek, Alex, Goran, and DeMar today?
So DeMar full go. Derek, for the most part, did everything in practice today. Goran did for the most part everything. You know, we do with those guys as they're coming back. Try to be careful with them, not have them do everything, but they were available to do things out there. It was the non-contact practice. There was a lot of running and moving, cutting, those kind of things. Javante, I think, continues to get better. He has been introduced to some running. There's still a ramp-up period he needs to have before he actually can get on the court and start doing things competitively and physically. But he is progressing in terms of his running. Alex did everything today, did not sit out of everything. He was full go on everything. We'll see how these guys feel tomorrow.
Right.
But we certainly came back a lot healthier than we went into the break.
Javante's ramp up, is that
Yep.
like 1 week, 2 weeks? What does that look like?
I would say it's probably The introducing of running, has happened. I don't know exactly all the things, but I would say certainly probably a couple weeks away before he can get back on the court in terms of the contact, the playing. I would say he's a couple weeks away from that.
And do you guys still feel like there's enough time? I mean, obviously 23 games is not a ton of time.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think for all these guys, and especially for Javonte, because he gives you everything he has, and you want him healthy. I know the kind of guy he is that he'll go out there and try to play on one leg if he could, but he's got to be smart, and whenever he can come back, whatever that time looks, however many games is left, we'd welcome back with open arms just because of what he brings to the table. He plays with great energy and great passion. He's been here. It's not like he's really missing out on anything. It's not like we put like a whole new offense or defense in or things like that. He's around practice every single day, so he's up to speed on those things. So, whenever he does come back and can come back, whatever time's left, I think that would be fine, and we would try to maximize him as much as we could.
Billy, can you talk about any type of conversation you had with Lonzo when the final decision was made, how he's dealing with that, and what you're dealing with?
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is, I think a lot of times it's so easy to look, just look at it through the lens of, gosh, we wish he was out here playing for us this. But to me, I take a totally different perspective of just what he has had to go through. That's the thing that really bothers me, that he's 25 years old at this point in time of his career, and the game really for over a year has been taken away. He missed half the year last year, and he missed all this year. And he's always tried to handle himself well. He's always tried to be upbeat. He's always tried to be like he's moving and progressing in the right way. The decisions I think were made, with Arturas and Mark and his representation and talking to Lonzo. But I just feel bad for him. Clearly, I think people saw the 40 games that he played. He was a huge addition for our team, and he made a really, really positive contribution in a lot of different ways, both offensively and defensively. But for me, more that a guy 25 years old has had to go through that, I feel for him more of what's been taken away from him, and how hard he's tried to work to get himself back healthy.
You mentioned just before going through the injury list there, Dragic. Do you have any sense yet of whose role is impacted most by Beverley's addition?
No, I think we just got back. I got back here yesterday. We met today as a staff. I think trying to get our guys on the court tomorrow to play a little bit, to try to get more contact in. I do think we need, with these 2 days, a day where we can get up and down the floor and play and just see what these guys look like together a little bit. Dalen played really, really well, in 2 games. The opportunity presented itself just because we weren't whole, and I was happy for Dalen. And I think I mentioned to you guys I was really pleased with the way he's kept himself ready. Goran's kind of been in and out. He's dealt with some injuries. Alex has had to deal with some injuries. DeMar's dealt with some injuries. Derek's dealt with injuries. So, I know I'm not answering the question probably very well, but it's just hard right now to sit there and say, here are the guys we're going to play. I do know this. Somebody's not going to be in the rotation. That's going to happen. Who that is, it's hard for me to say that right now, exactly who it's going to be. We're in discussions and conversations, I think, as a staff about that. But you also, I think, want to let these guys play a little bit too. And not to say that I'm going to find out like a bunch through one practice, but, we're not going to be able to play everybody if we're all whole. And I think a lot of it's also going to depend on, I don't want to sit there and say that now, and then all of a sudden Alex comes back tomorrow and his foot's still a little bit sore. And then DJ comes out of practice and his groin's a little bit different. And then, well, Bill, you said you're going to do this. Well, this kind of happens. So I think I've got to see what our whole team looks like, going into tomorrow's practice and after tomorrow's practice, and my guess would be that after the first game, we could change up rotations and move around some things, but I've just got to see where our team is at from a health standpoint and who's actually able to play. Is there going to be a minute restriction on Alex? Is there a minute restriction on, Derek? These are things I think that the medical guys and I will talk about to see how these guys have responded after today.
One other thing, on Beverley, is it a lot or unfair to ask, he's like coming in, it's like, save us kind of thing. It's this notion of, well, he's going to play hard and get guys motivated and blow up the locker room and do all these things. It's sort of unfair to him to say, hey, we've had a tough season, come save us now.
Yeah, I don't think that's at all, a message that.
Not that you're saying it, but you know.
You know what? I don't know. Like I think Pat, has a lot of confidence and belief in his ability to bring people along with him, and inspire and motivate, or whatever word you want to use. I think he's done that for his career, and I think people have respected the way he's competed and he's played the game. I'm not looking at him at all like that. Like, hey, listen, we need this ramped up energy, and you've got to do this and this for this group. I don't look at it that way. We need him to be who he is, and he gives us a little bit more experience in the backcourt. I know, just in being around him and talking with him, like, he wants to make an impact, and it's not so much about the points on the scoreboard or what he's averaging or how many shots he's getting, as much as he wants to positively impact the group. And I think he'll try as hard as he possibly can to do that in a positive way. These guys are all pros. They're going to step across the lines, and they know that they have a job to do and a responsibility. I don't think that any of those guys feel that that's Patrick's job to do that for everybody else. I just think that his personality in a lot of ways can be very infectious.
Billy, real quick on the
Sure.
two-way guys, because you guys have made some changes throughout the year.
Yep.
What was behind the decision to swap Malcolm and bring in Terry Taylor?
I think that in talking to Arturs, he felt like, bringing in Terry could maybe give us a little bit of a different look. I think he felt like it was something, again, that I think from a physical standpoint, multi-positional standpoint, a guy that can, play a lot of different positions. I was not privy to all the intel, in terms of Arturs and Mark and the front office's background check on them. It was a decision that they told me that they felt could help our group, and certainly I trust those guys and support those guys. And I think that they're probably looking at the G League, the roster, the two ways, and trying to figure out ways to continually, develop. I really appreciate, Malcolm. He's worked really, really hard, and he's a great guy, and he was as dedicated as anybody in this building in terms of his consistency of being in here when he didn't need to be in here. And I think the same thing can be said for Tony Bradley. Like, Tony could not have been any more professional. Always did extra work, always kept himself ready, never really got an opportunity, even in some of those games where the game was over, whether we were up or down. He went in there very willingly, appreciative of the opportunity to go out there and play, just conducted and handled himself in a first-class manner and kept himself in great shape. So, the business side of it sometimes stinks, when you get a personal relationship with some of these guys, and when you see the last couple of years the way Malcolm has worked and how he's progressed. And I think also the same thing could be said for Tony as well. I think with Derek playing the center spot, Vooch being there, and then Drum being there, the opportunity to present itself, and I think with even some of our backcourt situation, as hard as Malcolm works, sometimes the opportunity didn't present itself. But I think if those guys keep that attitude, I'm hopeful that they get an opportunity somewhere else.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks a lot, Billy.
Okay, yep, thank you guys.
Good break?
Yes, it was nice, thank you. Hopefully you guys did too.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.